'Cause I've got you.
I had no idea you could dance.
It's amazing what you can learn in a Holosuite.
I can't believe we're having our first date in a Holosuite.
Set a course for love.
Ah, yes. One of your earth emotions.
Glad I found you.
Let's get married.
Delete the wife.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Deep Space Love, the Star Trek podcast, where a married Trekkie couple explore love in all its forms throughout the final frontier. I'm Nicole, one of your hosts.
One of the other hosts, Joe. Hi.
You're the only other host.
Well, we got a guest today.
We do. And we're very excited to introduce him today with us. We have Matt Jennings. If you don't know Matt, he is a multi-talented artist, actor, and Trek fan. The first two episodes of his web series 1701, A Blurred Story, which takes a look at the life of a gay black nerd who turns to his love of Star Trek to cope with life, are available now on YouTube. Thank you, Matt, for joining us, and welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. I'm so excited. Thank
We are
you.
too. Welcome.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Let's see. What did I do today? I woke up, which is always good. It's always good to wake up.
True.
I went to the gym, which is like part of my routine. I do the gym in the morning before work.
Smart.
And I listened to an episode of DS Love.
Really? Oh
I
my gosh.
did.
Which one?
I listened to the episode that focuses on Martok and Cirilla.
That is a good one. Yeah. We're big Martok fans.
I'm a huge. Martok is. There's just something very special about Martok, and I mean, I've always appreciated. I think since Next Generation Klingon culture, but I think when Galron and Martok, and obviously Worf as well, but when they hit the scene, I think there was just this new level to Klingon culture, this new dimension that was added with them.
Oh, for sure.
This theatricality, this Shakespearean manner of speaking and handling text. I think honestly, Christopher Plummer did it too. Especially in that courtroom scene in The Undiscovered Country. Martok, JG kind of just carried that on so beautifully. So
Yes. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for being a listener too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good one. Well, since you are, this is your first time on as a guest, I think Joe sent you a couple of or three, I say a couple, but there's actually three specifically, new guest questions that we just kind of like to ask to get kind of it's a good starting point to jump off of. And it's just fun to just give you more reasons to talk about Trek beyond the episode we're looking at today. So to start out, why do you love Trek?
Why do I love Trek? I think the answer is evolving over the years as I think continue to get more involved in the community or speak to more people in the community. And I think one of the reasons that I love it is community. And I think Trek has a way of reaching beyond just the movie screen or the television screen. It has a way of influencing people, I think influencing social political change, which I think is amazing. I always use this as an example, seeing Stacey Abrams as the president of Earth in Discovery, which was just a joy and a treat. And Stacey Abrams, who is also just a force herself, and iconic in or essential in helping to get black voters counted. as well as God, I swear that I read this on Twitter. This was years ago. AOC, she's a big a Janeway fan, a big Voyager
Really?
fan. She's a big Voyager fan, and she, I think she put on Twitter at one point. She said, "Debate me on Tuvix. I will debate you on Tuvix at any time."
I would love to do that. Amazing.
Obviously, you know, there's the story with Dr. King and Nichelle Nichols, and how she, you know, she didn't realize that he was a Trek fan, but you know, he's the reason why she stayed on Star Trek. So Star Trek is very unique in the fact that it can bring people together. It can motivate people to change in many different areas, and I think that's what I love about it, and what I'm understanding about it more and more. It's a television show, yes, but it is also it can also be a way of life to a certain extent if you're really looking at it, really thinking about it.
That's an amazing answer. Thank you for sharing. So, when thinking about the whole of the franchise, what do you consider your home base show or crew kind of just, I mean, I don't want to say like favorite necessarily. I feel like it's slightly different than just like, where do you go to? Like, you feel like this is like your, I don't know, like how, I mean, I don't know if you watch Doctor Who, but like when people are like, who's your doctor? And I feel like that's kind of what this question is. Or it's just like, who or which, you know, ship.
Who's your crew?
Yeah, who's your crew?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I do watch a little bit of Doctor Who. Actually, two of my friends got me into it, so I'm still quite a few doctors behind, but I'm on oh my God, what is his name? Matt Smith. I'm on Matt Smith right now. But yeah, in terms of my crew, the answer is always the same. It's Deep Space Nine, the DS9 crew.
Awesome.
I think for multiple reasons. I think, you know, to have a black man be the captain on a Star Trek television show, especially at that time in like 90, I guess the series started 93, 91, went to 99. To me that was seeing a black president at that point. You know, I was 11 years old, and you know, just to see that kind of representation, I didn't see that a lot. So so that was a big deal for me. So there's that element. I think there is something about that particular crew, and maybe, you know, I think it's also a credit to the writers as well, the creators, the actors, everybody. There's a way that they interacted with each other, which I felt like I was watching. I felt like I was just watching a sitcom sometimes, to a certain extent, with the chemistry. I mean, the show is obviously, you know, heavy, and the stakes were always very present. But there was something unique in the comedy, unique in the dynamics that these characters had, that I didn't quite see in the other Treks before, and I still haven't quite seen yet. And that is no shade to any of the other Treks that are out there. I love them as well, but there was something very different about DS9 and how everybody interacted with each other.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, I feel like the Quark-Odo relationship, like from the get-go, is sort of the like comedy
Oh my
duo.
God.
Yeah, so that, I mean, I don't know if any of the other shows have that like pairing in the main cast.
Like the odd couple
really
kind of
don't.
thing.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. So
It's-
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, you know, Quark and Odo are just a hoot, and they have a very special, very beautiful relationship that you watch just evolve, you know, over that 7-year run. Yeah, I could go on. So I'm trying to,
I know we could let you, likewise. So the last question, if you could go on a date with a character, and it doesn't have to be romantic, it can be, you know, just grabbing coffee with a friend, but if you could do that or grab a drink with a character, any character from the franchise, who would it be?
Oh, okay. So I've been thinking about this. Oh my god. Can I pick a couple? Does it have to be one?
Sure.
Yes.
You wouldn't be the first to do so.
Okay. So I think for sure the ideal ideal person that I would spend my life with would probably be Dax.
Right. Yeah.
I think that Dax I think with living, seven lifetimes, I guess to be specific, Jadzia Dax. So I think with living, 7 lifetimes, I think having that kind of experience, and also just having this nuance and finesse of knowing when to be serious and know when to like make someone lighten up, I think is perfect for me, because I can be very much like Worf, where I can be very serious and curmudgeon-y. I think I'm learning to laugh a little bit more now, but I think that she would be perfect to help me, to help me be a better human being. I also would love to date Rutherford.
Aw.
Rutherford is just so sweet and wholesome and just a joy to be around. Also, I love to build model kits as well. So anytime that he's got a model kit and he's building it on the Cerritos, I'm like, we would be perfect together.
Yes,
So I think
that.
those are my two, and maybe Trip Tucker as well.
Why are you looking at me?
Yeah, Trip and Geordi. I think Trip and Geordi. Geordi's also a big sweetheart. So.
Thank you for sharing. Loved all that.
Great answers all around.
Yeah. I just want to go on a date with everyone on Star Trek, actually.
Yeah.
Almost everyone. I would. Yeah.
At some point, for sure.
I know, right? Yeah. I need to organize it into a list, just in
A Google Calendar.
A Google Calendar. Yes.
One every day.
Yeah.
Maybe
exactly.
two.
Yeah, maybe two.
One
Yeah, you can fit
date,
2 in. Yeah.
one
Coffee and a
yeah.
drink. Yeah, later. For sure.
We're getting out of hand.
Before we do talk about our episode we're discussing today, I wanted to talk a little bit about your web series, 1701, a blurred series, a blurred show, right?
No.
A blurred story. Why did I say that wrong? I just watched it like twice. But yeah, a blurred story. Thank you. Really, really enjoyed it. I think it's only 2 episodes so far, what it sounds like, and the third one's coming soon.
So the third one is coming soon. I just finished my editing, so I sent it off to my composer to do music. So I'm thinking probably mid-February, it should be out to the eyes of people.
Yes. Okay, good. I'm excited for that. Because it left us on a cliffhanger at the end of episode 2. But so I think that it's a cool story that you're telling in general. You're playing around with some really interesting, like, fun tropes and themes that kind of, verge into rom-com a little bit. But like, I really love this like inside out kind of element with the Trek characters like in your head responding and like, like to what's going on. It's just a really like fun and unique piece to it. And so kudos to you for first off.
Thank you.
It's a cool show. But for the listeners who may not have heard of it or checked it out yet, could you just give us a little background into what it is and maybe how it came about?
Oh, absolutely. And thank you guys for watching it. I really do appreciate it.
For sure.
So basically, I did a solo show in 2012, and I guess I talked with my friend Sean about it, who's like also a very good friend and a very dear mentor to me. And I just said, I don't quite know what angle I would come at with this, and so he had me, write out just like a timeline of different things that had happened in my life. At that point, it was up to the age of 25, because I was 25 when I wrote the show and performed it. But there were a lot of themes just about identity, which kept coming up, and all I could see was just Star Trek references each time one of these things happened. It's like, how would I explain this to people? And it's just how my brain works. And so, I'd say, well, for example, when I talked to my cousin about coming out of the closet, it's like I was talking to Guinan or Counselor Troy. Two of my friends that I always speak to about certain things that are going on, if I'm getting their input, one can be very logical and that's my friend Emerson. So my friend Emerson is like the Spock character, and my friend Joel, who can be very emotional and just impulsive, and that's very much like Bones. And so even in the show, I call him Bones because
Yeah.
I think just the idea in that world is that as a kid, I told him about Star Trek and I just nicknamed him Bones, and so therefore he was Bones. But yeah, so that's kind of what the show is as well. Is in this world, Matt is basically kind of living out his life as if he's in a Star Trek episode in some ways. So he'll have these things that happen to him in his life. He'll go on a date, or he'll get a DM from someone that wants to go out on a date with him, but because he's not completely comfortable in himself, or comfortable in the situation, he'll go to that Star Trek world in his mind. And for him, it's like, oh my God, I'm getting this text message from this person, but it's like I'm being hailed on the Enterprise. And so I have to figure out how I'm going to respond to this message. So there's the logical part of my brain that is the Spock character on the ship that is saying, you've got to respond this way and you have to do this. And then you've got the emotional side of me that is the Dr. McCoy character that's like, just answer the message, just respond, stop thinking about it so much. And so I guess, I modeled a little bit of that, I guess, after what they were trying to do in the original series, where you had Spock, who's the more logical person. You had Bones, who's the more emotional person, and Kirk was supposed to be the melding of the two that makes the decision. And it's kind of what the web series is. Each situation is kind of like a different Trek scenario, but there's always the central place where Matt deals with the situations, and that's on the bridge of the Enterprise. And let's see, I think without giving too much away, I've been sharing clips here and there from the third episode, obviously not the full episode, but we deal with the Borg in the third episode. And the Borg show up in a very interesting way in Matt's mind, in terms of how he's dealing with something in reality, and the way that he sees this thing that he's dealing with in reality is like he's looking at the Borg. And I hope that's clear for listeners.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, honestly, if I had it my way, if I was on Paramount Plus, if I had Paramount money, I would have some of these Trek characters and these Trek actors play different versions of themselves in Matt's life. And then when Matt is jumping to the Star Trek world in his head, he sees them as their Trek character, talking to him, like Matt going to a gay bar and getting advice, and seeing, Guinan as a bartender, but in reality, I don't know, it's like Whoopi Goldberg playing some other character, just washing a cup, or I talk about this all the time because I want to do a drag episode and feature Klingons. I want to do it so bad, but I think about the idea of Matt going to a gay club and going to a drag show, and the two owners would be JG Hertzler and oh my God, the name of the actor that plays Gowron. What is the name of the actor that plays Gowron?
I don't know off the top of my head. Oof.
Yeah, I would be impressed if you did have that on the top of your head.
But it would be the two of them, and they'd be playing this older gay couple owning this gay bar. And then in Matt's mind, it's Martok and Gowron hosting a drag show. But
I know. I want to see that now. Yeah.
I want it so bad.
That sounds so much fun.
these are the ideas. That's my vision. If I had money, and if Paramount wasn't going to sue me. So
Yeah. It's a cool, I mean, it's a really cool, like, unique idea though, like that would be a cool outside the box, like Star Trek kind of like adjacent show that I feel like if they were to do something like that, that would be really successful. Like, yeah, get those actors and like, they could be in costume, like in your head, that kind of like situation too. Like, it would be like a really cool companion piece that I can't imagine would be like overly expensive too, right?
I mean, like, very short treks exists now, and I feel like if you would have mentioned that like 3-4 years ago,
right, yeah,
right,
never in a million years. So I feel like anything's possible.
That's true. Just keep putting your name out there.
Hey, you never know. I mean, I also think about because they did it with in some ways they did something like that with Far Beyond the Stars a little bit.
Yeah,
where
I was just thinking of that.
Sisko's, he's playing this writer, and this writer keeps seeing, these characters pop up in his mind. Also in reality, that moment where Sisko, I guess, is in the office, or Benny Russell is in the office, and someone's reading his script, and it's not a visitor playing a writer, but at one moment he sees her as Nerys, and Nerys is saying, "I love this Kira character; she's awesome." Little moments like that. So I mean, it's in a way, it's kind of been done before. I'm like, hey, turn it into a show. Why not? But yeah.
Yeah, I support that.
Yeah, it's regarded as one of the best, the DS9 episodes.
Yeah.
So. Of all Trek, really.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for getting into that. I answered a lot of the questions that I kind of had about it, but I just want to emphasize that if anyone listening hasn't checked it out, go check it out. They're about 7-minute episodes. Definitely worth the time. Super fun, and excited for more.
Yeah.
YouTube on YouTube, right?
Yeah, on YouTube. And it should be at 1701 BLERD. You can find them there. Again, yeah, it's just someone that's seeing their life as a Star Trek episode and kind of coping with life using Trek. There's some heavy subject matter, while it's 7 minutes long for each one, so I can't go into all the nuances of it. But I did want to discuss a little bit of what's happening in queer culture, and also how people of color are treated and seen sometimes, even in the queer community, and how that's a conversation that we haven't really fully had in the queer community, and this is just one of the ways to talk about it, and one of the angles. There's so many different ways that you can have a conversation regarding some of the subject matter, but this was also my commentary on that as well.
For sure. And I think you do a good job of like balance. Like there are some like rom-com elements to it that are humorous, but like can definitely, feel like some heavier moments that come through, and it's well done. I think the balance is struck well.
Thank you.
All right. So
speaking of rom-coms,
great segue. We're going to get into our episode, but real quick first, I haven't done that yet this year.
Sorry.
I got a Trek check for you. Trek check is my little segment where I just give a few news updates of the Trek world. Not a whole lot. I mean, we haven't done one for a while, but there's not a whole lot going on right now in Star Trek. The big, two of the big pieces of news is that Star Trek Prodigy now on Netflix. Check that out, watch it, support it. We're really excited. We just had our 5-year-old watch it with me a little bit, and she's been having a lot of fun with it. So
good.
Yeah, that was exciting. Other news, we got Discovery coming back this year in April, and it's going to premiere at South by Southwest in March.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's kind of a cool thing. So it'd be fun to go there. I don't think I will go there, but I wish I could. And the last kind of big news piece that it was interesting, which I don't quite know how I feel about, is the announcement of the new, another in a long line of announcement of a new Star Trek film.
Yep.
That, it's supposedly helmed by director Toby Haynes, who did a bunch of the Andor episodes. They're saying it's going to take place like decades before the 2009 film. So again, going backwards. Supposedly related to the Kelvin timeline in some capacity. So I'm guessing like a Bad Robot production. But I for as much as I really would love to see more Star Trek on the big screen, I'm just like, at this point with the announcements, I'm kind of like, show me a trailer and then I'll be on board. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I would have to agree. I mean, they keep talking about it, so it's on the minds of the powers that be, which is a good thing, right? You know, we're not in that place where we were, I think, you know, in like 2005, you know, that was like, what was it? These are the voyages, and then that was it. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't have anything for like 4 years, and we were like wondering what's going to happen with Star Trek. So we know it's on people's minds. I mean, we've heard about the Kelvin movie. We've heard about the actual Kelvin movie as well with the Kelvin crew. We've heard about supposedly a movie that's been written featuring Jean-Luc Picard. And then we've got the Michelle Yeoh project, which is actually happening. Which
that one's like on the docket, right?
I am excited about, you know, and I think it's very interesting because I remember when it was mentioned and it seemed like it was losing steam. And I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I knew after I saw the movie, I knew that movie was just going to be Oscar worthy. I knew she was going to get an Oscar, and I just remember saying to myself, Paramount, if you guys don't get on this, she's going to be too busy for you. Like, you're just
for real.
You have to get on this, and I'm glad that they did. The Kelvin movies. The third one, to me, is when they really started to feel like a crew and
Agreed.
get their footing, you know? And it's a shame that the third one didn't do that well and that there wasn't a follow-up sooner. So, you know, I think they deserve another shot. I'm not sure what the motivation is for doing a prequel Kelvin movie. I think, you know, at the end of the day, I think that Star Trek has to continue to be, you know, as Leonard Nimoy said it once, he said, it's got to continue to be thoughtful. And, you know, I think that we've had a lot of different iterations of Trek since the JJ movies and the different series that have come out in this new Trek. And, you know, there have been some hit and misses here and there with things, but I think that we're finally getting to this place now where Trek is returning to, in my opinion, what it is in terms of being thoughtful. I think Strange New Worlds is like the ultimate realization of the last, Discovery came out in 2017.
Yeah.
So the last, I guess, 7-8 years, I think Discovery or Strange New World is kind of where we were trying to get to. You know, we have those episodes that speak about things. We have episodes where they're experimenting with different things. There's a lightness to the show. There's a heaviness to the show. You know, Lower Decks is also just a joy and a treat. I think season 3 of Picard, in my opinion, was great. I think season 4 of Discovery, to me, was the most Trek in terms of it actually saying something. And that's no offense to the work that's been done in the past. And, you know, it's just, I felt like something wasn't quite connecting or being said in those earlier seasons. But in season 4, I felt like there was a pure message. So as long as this new Trek movie, these new movies have something to say, I think I'm on board, and I think I'll be all right. You know, it's just, I think when Star Trek is not afraid to get uncomfortable, when it's not afraid to talk about things, I think that's when it's at its best, and I think that's what keeps it relevant, and makes it last. I think, you know, in a way, you know, people love reality shows. People love reality shows because people love scandal. And in a way, in my opinion, those uncomfortable subjects and dealing with that stuff and addressing that stuff, to me, that can be saucy, that can be scandalous in a healthy way. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but
Yeah.
you know, that can really spark someone's interest. So, if we lean into that more as a franchise, I think we'll be all right.
Well said.
Well said. And that's a great end to the Trek Check segment there.
Computer, status report. What the hell was that?
Let's dig into the episode in question today. We're going to be talking about DS9 Season 6, Episode 20, His Way, in which Bashir's holographic 1960s lounge singer, Vic Fontaine, played by James Darren, gives Odo tips for wooing Kira. Which, there's a lot. I mean, that's a quick breakdown of it, but there's a lot going on here. Matt, you brought this one to us a little bit. You suggested this one, so I'm guessing you like this episode. Do you want to give us some of your thoughts?
Oh, I love this episode. I love this episode because around the time that this came out, I think this came out like 97, 98. And
right.
I had kind of just started to discover rom-coms as a kid. My mom introduced me to Sleepless in Seattle, which is probably like my favorite rom-com of all time. And I've got a whole crazy like time travel theory as well that I'll bring up. But my mom introduced me to Sleepless in Seattle. My dad introduced me to, oh God, what was it? My Best Friend's Wedding. And You've Got Mail. And so, this is all like around the, mid to late 90s. So I was really getting into that stuff. And to me, His Way was right up there to me, and I do have a bias because I love DS9 and I love Star Trek, but to me that episode is like right out of like a rom-com, and I put it up with with My Best Friend's Wedding and Sleepless in Seattle. I like it that much.
Oh, awesome.
I love that. Yes. So like when you're in the mood for a good rom-com, you could just pull that one out just as much as some of those movies, huh?
Yeah, I totally do. Like, I mean, February 14th is next month. I'm going to do it again.
Love that. What did you think, Nikki, on this rewatch? We have seen it before, yes, but it's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been fun, like doing the podcast or the past like year and a half, 2 years? 2 years, probably.
Something like that, yeah.
Time has been weird since we had a second kid. Anyway, but like, we were watching them in air date order, like in, essentially with each series. And so, I mean, this was like a nice, fun little reprieve in that season where there's a lot of heavy stuff going on. But then like just plucking it out, it sort of not randomly, but, without watching the other episodes around it, it definitely is really fun and sweet. And I think like it must have been so much fun for Renee Auberjonois to kind of be able to flex beyond the rigid structure of Odo most of the time. So I feel like that was, and also Nana Visitor in being able to like do some singing on and dancing and stuff on set must have been a lot of fun. So it looked like they were having fun, and it sounds like they were having fun behind the scenes. So that comes through, and it is really sweet. And even I think like I appreciate the Vic character a lot more on the rewatch. Not that I didn't the first time, but I think just like his uniqueness as a character, and especially as a hologram character, came through really strongly for me this time. And I was surprised that this was this like the first time, not the first time we see him.
I'm pretty sure first time we see him.
That's insane. It feels like he was in half of DS9.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how is that possible?
It's right. I think that's what it was. It was just the way that Vic was written into those episodes, and I think just the character as well. I think of Vic as well when I think of DS9. Just as I would think of Dax or Kira or Captain Sisko.
Exactly.
It's a testament to like you were saying earlier, the writing of those characters, and just like how that not the name, like the main cast who are in the credits, like so many other people are pretty much just right up there with like people we feel like we know in that group.
Yeah, DS9 did that better than probably almost any other.
I think still at this point,
like any other show, like those non-main cast, like but regularly recurring characters were just amazing. How about your thoughts? Sorry, Joe.
No, it's fine. Also loved it. I like you, was surprised that this was the first appearance of Vic. I think that, like you said, lots of sweet, funny moments. I really loved kind of an understated piece to this was like we mentioned earlier, the Quark and Odo relationship, like when they
Yeah.
were just in Quark's office, like discussing like,
You mean Odo's office?
or Odo's office. Yeah.
Quark
Quark's
doesn't have
office.
an office.
Odo's office discussing like his love life. And he's like, why am I talking to you about this? Like, no, you brought it up.
It's like, you
Like, that was
me to come here.
That was very funny. Or like even just the small bit of how like when Bashir wants to like use the Vic Fontaine program and like Quark covers for him, like, no, they're all full. Like that was just like a subtle sweet thing. Like, oh yeah, their relationship really has grown a lot. Like he is covering for Odo. Like he doesn't want to see him humiliated kind of thing. And so like that's really cool. Like that's on full display. I think just it's clear in this episode that like how and why like James Darren made that Vic Fontaine character such a memorable like character, and why we feel like he's been in so much Deep Space Nine, because he's just got something like memorable like ticks to the character. Like he just like really brings that like kind of like Rat Pack vibe to life. Like just like casually dropping like, oh, that night I was over with Frank or whatever. Like it just feels like it fits. Like it, and like I was like reading the trivia, like apparently he actually knew like Frank Sinatra Jr. and was friends with them and knew some of those guys. So like it just feels like authentic in that sense. Like it's fun, but it's also like out of place because it's like on the space station, but it all works. And so I don't know, like it's just like a great testament to how weird Star Trek can get, but like still feel like right at home, you know?
It's wonderful. I mean, something that I love about Odo and Kira specifically is that I think about them kind of like the Rachel and the Ross a little bit, of like the will they won't they. Also, like for people that watch Living Single, the Kyle Barker and Maxine Shaw, the Kyle Barker and Maxine Shaw of DS9, you know, we watch them throughout the years slowly in a slow burn, you know, get to this place where they finally end up together. I mean, I think Odo in season 3 mentions that he's in love with her. I mean, it ends up being to a changeling, but you know, he confesses it. And then, you know, we go to find out, you know, about Nerys being with Shakar, and Quark's like, let her go. Now you have to let her go. And then there's the whole the episode where they're on the Defiant, and something happens where I guess the Defiant ends up going through some sort of energy field, crash lands, and there's this whole civilization that has been birthed from the Defiant, and Odo is now like
that one.
That's right. Yeah.
And like Odo, I guess that version of Odo has kind of realized that he couldn't let Kira go. And there's a romance there as well. And then, you know, it's awkward, and we see it in You're Cordially Invited. Whole like B plot of like Odo avoiding Kira and going on like, did he just avoid us? What's going on here?
Yeah.
I mean, that moment, I think it's so funny in You're Cordially Invited when Dax is in her, you know, she's in her place and she's trying to sleep and she hears voices, and it's just like Odo and Kira just like having a whole conversation in the closet. And then we make it to his way where, you know, all of this buildup is finally rewarded. That there's a beauty in the honesty to who these two people are in that episode. For example, Vic is in Kira's Holosuite program, and she's trying to meditate. And so Kira's like, leave, go away. And so Vic is like, oh my God, you guys are perfect for each other. Just as he is. And there's a very sweet, very, and it breaks my heart every time I watch it. But when they're going on their first date, and Odo doesn't know that Nerys is real, and Nerys thinks that Odo, you know, thinks that she's real. And Vic breaks the news and says, nope, you've been dancing with a real McCoy. And so Odo has this moment where, you know, he was so open, and then you just see him go in. And so it's like a breakdown on like 3 beats where he says, or maybe it's 2 beats where he just says, Nerys. And then, you know, he steps back and he goes, Major, and it gets formal, and he just goes back into himself and he walks away. And it's so beautiful. It's
Yeah,
such a beautiful
agreed.
episode.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, so well like performed too.
Mhm.
Like those two.
Yeah.
Oh my
powerhouses.
god, the chemistry that they had.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Palpable too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
um I feel like when you had brought this episode up to us, like you had mentioned, like, oh, it's like a classic rom-com. And so I was kind of watching it with that lens throughout this. And I think that whole sequence of the idea of like Odo not really realizing that Kira is like the real Kira there, like that felt straight out of like the rom-com playbook, like that piece specifically, which was great, but it was also like a unique twist on like a spin, like something like that, like mistaken like identity, kind of almost mishap that you'd see in a rom-com, misunderstanding that leads to them the big reconciliation kind of deal. But it was like uniquely Trek in that way, where it's like a hologram element, so like that was just, I'm just like kind of in awe of like that sequence. Like it's really, really well done. Nikki, I think you were bringing this up when you were like reading some trivia afterwards, but like, wasn't it like Ira Stephen Bear was kind of talking about how he was frustrated that this wasn't as well received right away, because he was saying like, it's almost more hard to make like these lighter comedic episodes than the more powerful heavy hitters like Far Beyond the Stars.
Yeah, because I mean, Star Trek kind of, especially Deep Space Nine is mostly a drama, in its genre, sci-fi. And so it's got all those elements. And so like, that's their bread and butter that they do every single day. And so for them to do something more unique like this, where it's like, it's not the only rom-com type episode that's ever been done in Trek, but especially for Deep Space Nine, it was like not very common for, kind of this truly silly, no, I don't want to say silly, but lighthearted episodes, even though there were like some powerful emotional moments. But yeah, Ira Stephen Bear was like, yeah, like this was harder for us to do. Like everybody had to bring something different to the table. Like it wasn't just like, okay, put on the uniform and do the techno babble and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was, some of these very like intimate, personal moments, and also trying to be funny at the same time and sweet. So
bringing out a lot of different like pieces to those characters.
Yeah. So it sounds. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you see Odo loosen up and lighten up. I mean, that moment where he's pretending to play the piano, and then you see him finally lean into it a bit, which is great. The moment where he's delivering. I mean, I don't know what was on the data pad, but he's delivering a data pad to Captain Sisko. And
I love that.
And then
their
Sisko and Dax. Sisko and Odo just start to sing a little bit. It's, I think, what is good about the show, I think, is those lighthearted episodes, I think, still come from the drama that these characters are in. And so in that way, it's earned to me. It's earned, and it comes from an honest place, that laughter. And the fact that the writers found time and found a way to put that stuff in while you've got the Dominion War, which is just this, God, I mean, the Dominion itself was that season, that arc was like, what, they started at the end of season 2, so
that's when they introduced him for sure. Yeah.
So it was like this 6 season long arc. And and you find time to find these little beautiful moments where people can laugh. I think it's great where people can laugh and fall in love.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Agreed. Yeah, it's cool. And we just rewatched the Take Me Out to the Holosuite episode, the baseball one, and it's a similar vibe. Like it's like you can take these moments because like, and I feel like Deep Space Nine, out of almost any Trek, like really makes the case for like these moments being so powerful because of like them going through the ringer so much with the war and being like, we need these little reprieves, or we need these moments for us to like retain our humanity.
Yes.
And like they make that case really well, I think.
Yeah. And for a show, I mean, and I think I kind of talked about that on another recent episode about like, I guess like exploring humanity and like I mean, that's the whole point of our show anyway, is, like love in all its forms throughout the franchise. And so, I mean, yeah, like rom-coms are a part of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
it's, I don't think it's as out of place as some people maybe found it to be.
I don't think so.
sure.
I really
Yeah.
don't. I mean, again, they really put in the seeds of Odo and Kira just here and there, bit by bit. You see it season by season, episode by episode. There's an obvious one in the episode His Way at the very beginning when the crew is watching Vic sing, and Kira just has a moment where she's just watching Odo watch Vic, and she's looking at him and she smiles. But also there's a moment in season 3 where I think it might have been in The Search, like the premiere of season 3, but there's a moment where nope, that's not it. It's season 4. Where Kira's talking to Odo, and she says to him, "You don't wear your belt with your uniform anymore. What happened to your belt?" And he goes, "Oh, I felt like it wasn't necessary." She said, "I liked it." And then he changes his uniform and he puts the belt back around, and it's just the little bits that we see, it's so good.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did a good job building to it, I'd say. Got a couple trivia pieces for this one that I thought was fun. Well, we talked a little bit about how one kind of behind the scenes bit that the actors were not sold on actually making this into a romance initially. They kind of wanted to stay friends, or maybe like at least flirt with the will they won't they. But it sounds like they were ultimately happy with what the script was and what this episode became. So they were like all on board at that point. One of the most interesting things is the kiss. So
oh yeah, I said this at the time. I was like, I wonder how it was doing that kiss.
So
like
so
just the mask.
I did some research into the kiss and how that worked.
Yes.
It sounds like when they were acting the scene, they just started it and they just kissed each other. And I think that first take was the one that was used. But when the take was over, Renee Auberjonois pulls away and realizes and sees Nana Visitor's face just all orange, full of the makeup, and the rubber latex mask is like stuck to her. And he said it was probably the most awkward like kiss thing that they've ever done, but it sounded very humorous, I'm sure, for everyone involved.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
that was done so well. I mean, and that's a very, very much a rom-com moment too, where they're having this moment where there's a little bit of bickering going on.
Yes.
And the embrace where it's like, on one hand, you could see it as just a trope and a go-to, but again, it was earned. The moment was earned. And so, yeah.
Oh, I think it fits their personalities. It's
totally
like, okay,
does.
like, because they're both kind of like get down to business kind of people. So
yes, they are.
They're at the end there where they're like, okay, like instead of like doing this coy, whatever we're doing, like,
let's just do it now.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, fine. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Like, yeah. The way you said, like the bickering turned into the
pan of everyone's faces.
Oh yeah. That's
God.
That's perfect.
I mean, Dax's reaction is great. And also, you've got the best friends in the rom-com, right? So you've got Dax, who's like the best friend to Kira, and you've got Quark, who's the best friend to Odo. I love Quark's reaction when they kiss, and he's like just washing the glass, going, "Okay, well done, Odo."
He probably patted himself on the back, knowing Quark.
Oh, I'm sure. Probably. Yeah. I also loved small moment like earlier in the episode when like Dax and Bashir were in like one of the turbo lifts, and she says something like "poor Odo" about him, like and Bashir is just completely oblivious, which is just perfectly Bashir too.
Perfectly Bashir.
Yeah. He's like, "Poor Odo, why?" The only one who has no clue.
It's just but like it's. I mean, also though, like Dax would be like, she's the kind of person that Jetsi would be like tuned in,
Of course.
Oh my God.
And she gossip. I mean, and not just gossip, but just like she's got to know.
She's got her ear to the ground.
She's got her ear to the ground. Yeah.
She always does. I think that was a great running joke in the show too. Is that someone would get some information, and they would say, "Wait, how did you know?" And then someone would say, "Dax," and they go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Oh, Dax.
Yeah. So this also, I another piece of trivia. This was the only episode of Star Trek nominated for an Emmy Award for Outstanding Music Direction with Jay Chataway, who composed the music for the scene, kind of incorporating that like lounge tunes into like the symphonic notes that we usually hear, which was really fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it sounds like it didn't win. Too bad, but it was nominated, so that's fun.
Definitely well earned.
Yeah,
for a nom for sure.
Should we talk about our rating scale? You guys have any final thoughts before we get into that?
I don't know. If you do, go ahead though, because I mean, this is our thing, but I forgot to decide, make a decision.
It's okay. You'll go last then. How about that?
Okay.
Matt, do you have any final thoughts?
Final thoughts on His Way. So many things. I mean, again, just, beautifully performed. Obviously this arc was earned, from seasons past in DS9. This arc was earned. I mean, yeah, just the acting, shout out to the director as well. Shout out to everybody who worked on it in every aspect of that episode. But yeah, I keep thinking about the performances of Renee and Nana and how they just told a beautiful story. Just told a very beautiful story. And, I love it. I love it. It's, again, I put it up there with my best friend's wedding, with Sleepless in Seattle. I love it just as much.
Yes. Thank you again for bringing this one to us. It was fun to revisit.
Yeah.
So our Deep Space Love rating scale, where we after we talk about a romance in Star Trek, we rate it, and we rate it on a 5-point scale. And we'll start with the bottom here. It could be a red alert, which is pretty toxic, not good. Yellow alert, slightly better, but really not great. A fascinating, which we like where it's going, but maybe need to see more. Fully functional means a solid relationship. We dig it. It's good. Like it. And then finally, a resistance is futile, which is just hot. So, Matt, did you give this some thought?
Oh boy, I do have a bias, and I totally acknowledge that. But I am gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile.
Yes. Okay. Tell me why.
I mean, again, I think with everything that happens in DS9, everything that has happened in seasons past up until this point, I think it hits it on the head in so many ways. We get a payoff to Odo and Kira from all the other episodes where we see them flirting more or less, or the acknowledgement of feelings, or she's out with Shakar again, here's Odo trying to bottle up his emotions. Again, with the Dominion War arc still happening, we find a way to still tell this story, and then add in this extra element of Vic Fontaine. You're introducing a new character as well, while you're telling a story and building on a story arc that's happened seasons past. You're introducing a new character in the same script, which is not easy to do. There's a lot of plates that are spinning, and I think it was handled well. I think it was handled very well. And Vic doesn't just serve a purpose in this episode. He's also essential in helping Nog, helping Worf. And then he gets help from the crew in the last season. So it was all relevant. I think nothing was taken for granted in this episode. It's all very relevant. So
yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to follow that, and I also gave it a resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile.
I'm with you on that one. I feel like all the things that you said, I feel the same way. The way the seeds were planted, the way that this episode comes together, I think there's just a very clear respect that the two have for each other, and like when they're able to finally be honest with each other, and they both just know what each other wants, like they just keep this relationship. It's very passionate, but they're also just like, they're very in tune to what the other wants. It feels like too. They want to make sure that they're like, they're careful and thoughtful of each other's feelings. And it's almost sometimes to the point where like, like Odo's like too careful, like when he backs away, but like, it's just, it just feels so real in that regard. And I think that as we go in season 6 and 7, like their relationship, the episodes we see them like the focusing on them like as a couple, like we may have talked about this a little bit, but the idea of like power couples in Star Trek, there are certainly a few, like Riker and Troy. I don't know if like Kira and Odo gets held up there as much, but I would maybe argue that they should, like they're right up there. They're like I think maybe with Deep Space Nine, it's more so Worf and Dax that gets talked about a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I think like these two, like you said, there was this like will they won't they for a while that kind of like pulled from like kind of like a sitcom tropes. And but ultimately, like I think what nudges it too is like coming at it at the very end in the finale, though, what we leave behind, like this sort of like that song, right? If you love something, let it go, or whatever. Like that tragic ending of like how they know they love each other, they know they would stay together, but that just isn't the way it can be with where they both need to be or where they both need to go, and they're ending it in this way that's just so beautiful, so respectful too, and with no malice either. They just like hold hands until he like sinks into the Great Link, which is just like a beautiful sequence too.
It's so beautiful. I mean, I remember watching that episode for the first time and really being mad at Odo because I was just so on board with their arc. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, as an adult now, I'm like, yeah, I get it. But there's always still this part of me that's like, you guys worked so hard for this. So.
yeah, it's a fleeting, brief romance in the grand scheme of Trek, but I think it's just like very well done. How about you?
The fact that you brought up the their conclusion or where we leave them and what we leave behind, because I think I told you that little trivia piece too, that like I think that the writers were, maybe they weren't going to have Kira and Odo, kind of come to the like, we are in a relationship, we're dating, we're a couple. But I think they had already thought ahead about the ending of the character for like the crew, and they wanted, like in the title, like what we leave behind, like what's Odo leaving behind at the end there when he goes back to the Great Link. So they had already kind of planned that out, is what I interpreted, what I read. I don't know if it was like explicitly stated, but it sounds like they kind of knew where the characters were going as individuals, and so they wanted it definitely like is such a powerful moment, right, as we just discussed. So like that was one reason they were like, we got to do this episode where they get together finally, because they wanted them to be able to have this brief romance and experience before the end, before the finale where Odo rejoins the Great Link.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. And so like, yeah, making that like hard for Odo to like have to make that decision. So it wasn't just, so I think that's pretty special. Anyway, I guess like I think this is maybe the first time we've had this, but like, I have to third. The resistance is futile.
It's unanimous.
Resistance is futile.
It is unanimous.
Awesome.
I don't know if that's happened before, but yeah, I mean, like again, seconding everything you guys just said, and it does feel just so earned. Like I feel like at the end of this episode when they finally kiss, and it's like, as the audience, at least for me, and I think for the three of us, but also like for the characters, it feels like the resistance at that point is literally futile.
Yeah.
And so I think that, it's sort of the perfect rating for this.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. This is great. Well, before we close out, Matt, I just wanted to say again, just a huge thank you for making the time to come hang out and chat Star Trek with us.
Yeah.
This is the joy of this podcast, is getting to reach out and meet some like interesting folks in the fandom and like interesting creators like doing cool work like we talked about with your show. It was just a joy to have you on.
Thank you for having me on. I can do this for hours. I love talking Trek. I love talking about Deep Space Nine. I so badly want some sort of Deep Space Nine follow-up show.
I know. I don't even want to talk about how like what we left behind and how it ruined me. Anyway.
Oh man, yeah. I still watch that finale sometimes. I'm reading the autobiography of Captain Sisko right now.
Oh, cool. Done. You liking it?
I love it. I love it. Shout out
Okay.
to Tyler. I can't remember how to pronounce his last name, so I'm just going to say Tyler D. Who wrote the book. It's very well done. But yeah, I need more DS9. I need to know where these people are. I need to know what's going on with them. Paramount, I know you got a lot of stuff going on, but come on, man.
No, I mean, as much as like I love, I mean, we've kind of gotten snippets from some of the other crews from that time frame, but DS9 is definitely
It's the least for sure.
the one that we have seen the least
It's-
characters coming back and
It really is. I mean, it's
insights.
the least, but it's like the callbacks from other shows in terms of what they use for plot. It's, I mean, Section 31 gets used in Discovery. It got used in Into Darkness. The Dominion War is like the aftermath of the Dominion War is all of season 3 of Picard.
Yep.
There's just so many elements of Deep Space Nine that are contributing to these larger elements of Trek, and it's like you've done everything but focus on the actual people.
Right. Except for the Lower Decks episode, I guess, right? We got that one.
Lower Decks is I think the one that's honored DS9 the most authentically and most fully in terms of follow-up. But you know, and that's no shade to the creators and the people that work behind the scenes, but it's like I think everything has been done but actually really get to the heart of DS9.
Agreed. Hopefully it's to come.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you have, I know we talked about your show and where to find on YouTube. We'll put all the links in the show notes and everything, but is there anything else that you wanted to plug or maybe say to look out for? I know, I think I saw that you were on For All Mankind recently, right? Or was that recent?
So I was in season 4. That was season 4, episode 1 of season 4. I was in For All Mankind for a quick minute. I had a line, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
And actually, oh my God, Denise and Michael Okuda were on set that day. Like I talk about like a power couple, right?
Yeah.
I nerded out so much when I saw them. Like they had their masks on and they had their production hats from Star Trek Picard, so I like knew who they were right away. So like before we filmed, I ran up to them. I'm like, guys, I know exactly who you are. I know you don't know who I am, but I've been like following you my whole life. I love you guys so much.
Fun.
But you know, that just doing that was just a treat. Obviously, Ron Moore, who, you know, Ron Moore, DS9, Next Gen, like, so to say that I got to do a little bit of something on a show that Ron Moore was part of was amazing. I do a podcast called Cinema Z, where me and my friend Mark, we review a lot of movies, indie movies that have probably flown under the radar but are amazing pieces of work. So yeah, check out Cinema Z. You can find that through BQN. I think it's BQN Podcast. I think that's the Instagram handle. But just type in BQN and you'll find it on Instagram. So I do Cinema Z. Yeah, I've got 1701. You can find me on at 1701 on Instagram, on YouTube, and also on Twitter. I'm getting into Threads and Blue Sky. I'm working my way there, trying it. But yeah, you'll find the links you'll find 1701 Blurred episode 1 and 2 on YouTube, and you'll find clips as well on my Instagram page on at 1701, and clips for episode 3 you'll find them there as well. Episode 3 will drop in February. I know that much. So
awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
And yeah, I'll just take one last second to also thank you for coming on, and like you said, like kind of the community aspect of Trek and sort of like reaching out and kind of being the community, and so it was really great to expand.
It's a beautiful thing. We have to unite. We especially now we've got to unite more than anything. If we, I believe at the end of the day, I think as a society we always move forward. I think we want to move forward. I think we've we've shown ourselves at in the United States. I know the way that things are looking right now, but I think even in the US, I think we always move forward. I just think at this point in time, we can decide if we want to do that the easy way or if we want to do that the hard way. I think that there are things that could possibly happen that I don't really want to go in on, that do scare me very much in regards to the election. But again, I think however it goes, I think the progress will always be forward. I just think that one way is going to be harder. But at the end of the day, I think progress and moving forward is just the inevitability. It's going to happen. We will move forward. And that's what I believe.
We're going to boldly go. Yes.
We are.
And with that, just thank you, everyone at home or wherever you're listening for listening. And you can follow the pod at DS Love Pod on Instagram. And rate, review, subscribe. And otherwise, until next time, love long and prosper.
Yeah.